What's going on, everybody? This is Sai from Forge Physio. Today we're going to go over ankle pump. So the ankle pump is a mechanism that we use to drive relative motion up the chain into our knee. So if I go from the side here, this is what we call an accessory motion. So if I were to plant my toe, you'll see that my knee drops. And if I were to pull my toes, you see that my knee bends. So plantar flexion, or when my toes go away from me, is coupled with what we call knee extension, okay? And then if I pull my toes toward me, that's called dorsiflexion. That's coupled with knee flexion. So you're combining those two movements. What we can do is we can go after creating more knee motion, and it also will facilitate a little bit of that rotation component in the actual tibia because of what the foot and ankle joint is doing. So what we'll typically do is I'm gonna get this leg out of the way so you guys can see, is say if I slide my knee back and I start to get some stiffness here. This is gonna be really common for individuals who are doing orthopedic aftercare, a lot of ACLs, knee replacements, those types of injuries, lower limb fractures too, to where the joints kind of get stiff. But what we're gonna do is you pull it back and I'm like, okay, yep, that feels stiff. I don't wanna move past that. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull my toes toward me as far as I can and then let them fall back to the ground. Pull my toes toward me as far as I can, let them come back to the ground. Say I do like 10 reps here, pausing at the top for like 1001, 1002, letting it fall back down. What I'll find is I can slide that heel back an inch or two and repeat it. And you're gonna find that as you pull your toes towards you, you're gonna feel more of that stiffness in the knee joint. So just be mindful that when you pull back, that you're being careful that you're not just forcing in range motion, okay? So we're just gently moving through as much range of motion as we can without facilitating like pain in the knee joint. Stiffness, tightness, those things are to be expected. Another thing that I like to do is I like to combine this with tibial rotation. So I'll scoot back to where it feels tight and I'll do like 10 ankle pumps where I'm pulling up, pushing into that stiffness, and then I'll add rotation out, rotation in, rotation out, and all of a sudden when I go scoot back, a lot of people will see that knee joint clean up and they're able to gain a lot more joint space. And then another way that you can do it is just sitting up against like a wall, so that way you're not trying to use your hip flexor to pull yourself forward. It's just more comfortable for you to be able to focus on creating that that actual accessory motion to drive the motion up into the knee. And then another reason that I like to do it against a wall is typically you can create a little bit of a landmark. So most of you that are doing this at home, you have the same space that you do the exercises in. So like if I'm using the same wall every time and I'm looking at my squat rack, here's my reference point, and I'm like, okay, my heel is about in line with that second post. Maybe I do these exercises for a couple of days, and a couple of days later, I'm like, oh shoot, my foot's back a couple more inches, right? So just ways that you can see and quantify the changes to be a little bit more encouraged and to be able to track that range of motion improvement over a period of time.